Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we are covering a topic that trips up so many English learners at every level, and that topic is gerunds and infinitives.
Yes, and if you have ever wondered whether to say, I like swimming or I like to swim, or whether to say, I want eating or I want to eat, then this episode is exactly for you.
We are going to break this down in the simplest way possible. No complicated grammar terms, just clear explanations, lots of examples, and practical rules you can start using today.
So let us start from zero. What is a gerund?
A gerund is when you take a verb and add ing to it, and it works as a noun in the sentence. So swimming, eating, reading, running, talking. These are all gerunds. They look like verbs, but they act like nouns.
So the word swimming can be a gerund. Give us an example of it acting like a noun.
Sure. Swimming is good exercise. Here, swimming is the subject of the sentence. It is doing the job a noun does. Just like you could say, football is good exercise, you replaced a noun with a gerund. They work the same way.
Another example, I enjoy reading. Reading is the gerund here. It is the object of the verb enjoy. I enjoy reading. I enjoy it. The thing I enjoy is reading.
Exactly. So gerunds are verb plus ing forms that function as nouns. Subject of a sentence, object of a verb, object of a preposition. They work in all the places a noun works.
Now, what is an infinitive?
An infinitive is to plus the base form of a verb. To swim, to eat, to read, to run, to talk. That is the infinitive. To plus verb.
And infinitives also act like nouns in many sentences, right?
Yes, they do. To swim is good exercise. That works just like swimming is good exercise. I want to eat. To eat is the object of want. So both gerunds and infinitives can function similarly in sentences, which is exactly why people get confused about which one to use.
So the real question is, when do you use the gerund and when do you use the infinitive?
That is the heart of it. And here's the honest truth. A lot of it depends on the verb that comes before. Certain verbs are followed by a gerund, certain verbs are followed by an infinitive, and some verbs can be followed by both.
So the key is learning which verbs go with which form.
Exactly. Let us start with verbs that are followed by a gerund. These are verbs where after them you use the verb plus ing form. Some of the most common ones are enjoy, finish, avoid, suggest, consider, keep, miss, practice, admit, and deny.
Let us hear examples of each of those.
I enjoy swimming. She finished eating. He avoids talking to strangers. They suggested going to the park. I'm considering changing my job. Keep practicing. I miss living near the beach. She admitted stealing the money. He denied breaking the window.
So all of those verbs, enjoy, finish, avoid, suggest, consider, keep, miss, admit, deny, are always followed by a gerund, never the infinitive.
Right. You cannot say, I enjoy swim. That is wrong. You cannot say, she finished eat. That is wrong. After these verbs, you must use the gerund.
Now, let's look at verbs that are followed by the infinitive, the to plus base verb form.
Common verbs followed by infinitives include want, need, hope, plan, decide, agree, refuse, offer, promise, learn, and forget.
Examples, please.
I want to travel the world. She needs to rest. He hopes to get the job. We plan to move next year. I decided to quit. They agreed to help. She refused to answer. He offered to drive. I promised to call. She is learning to cook. I forgot to lock the door.
So all of those verbs, want, need, hope, plan, decide, agree, refuse, offer, promise, learn, forget, are always followed by to plus the base verb.
Yes, you cannot say, I want eating. That is wrong. I need resting is wrong. I decided quitting is wrong. After these verbs, you need the infinitive.
This is already making a lot of sense. Now, what about the verbs that can go with both? You mentioned some verbs work with either a gerund or an infinitive with almost no change in meaning.
Yes, and this is where it gets interesting. Some verbs can be followed by either a gerund or an infinitive with almost no change in meaning, like love, hate, and continue.
So, I love swimming and I love to swim are both correct.
Both correct, same meaning. I hate waking up early and I hate to wake up early, both correct. She continued talking and she continued to talk, both correct. For these verbs, you can choose freely.
That's actually a relief. Some flexibility there.
But then there are verbs where using the gerund or the infinitive changes the meaning completely, and these are very important to know.
Which verbs are those?
The two most important ones are remember and stop. Let's take remember first. I remember locking the door. This means I have a memory of doing it. I locked the door, and I remember that I did it. I remember to lock the door. This means I do not forget to do it in the future. I always remember that I should lock the door.
Oh, wow. Same verb, completely different meaning depending on gerund or infinitive.
Exactly. One is about memory of a past action. The other is about not forgetting a future or regular action. So remember plus gerund is a memory of something already done. Remember plus infinitive is not forgetting to do something.
And what about stop?
Stop is a great one. I stopped smoking. This means I no longer smoke. I quit the habit. I stopped to smoke. This means I paused what I was doing in order to smoke. I was walking, I stopped, and then I had a cigarette.
So stop plus gerund means ending a habit or action. Stop plus infinitive means pausing one action to do another.
Yes, she stopped crying means she is no longer crying. The crying ended. She stopped to cry means she was doing something else. She paused and then started crying.
That's such an important difference. Let's also talk about try.
Yes, try is another one. Try plus gerund means experiment with something to see if it helps. Try drinking lemon water in the morning, meaning give it a go, see if it works. Try plus infinitive means make an effort to do something even though it's difficult. I tried to open the jar, but I couldn't, meaning I made an effort, but maybe I did not succeed.
So try eating less sugar means experiment with it. Try to eat less sugar means make an effort to do it.
Perfectly explained. So remember, stop, and try are the three verbs where the meaning changes depending on which form follows.
Now let us talk about gerunds after prepositions, because this is a very specific rule that a lot of people do not know.
This is a great rule. After a preposition, you always use a gerund. Always, not the infinitive. Always the gerund.
So what are some examples of prepositions?
In, on, at, about, for, without, before, after, by, of. These are prepositions, and whenever a verb comes after any of these, it must be in gerund form.
Give us examples.
I am interested in learning new things. In is the preposition, so learning is the gerund. She left without saying goodbye. Without is the preposition, saying is the gerund. He is good at cooking. At is the preposition, cooking is the gerund. Thank you for helping me. For is the preposition, helping is the gerund. Before going to bed, brush your teeth. Before is the preposition, going is the gerund. After finishing dinner, we went for a walk. After is the preposition, finishing is the gerund.
So if there is a preposition before the verb, you automatically use the gerund form. No exceptions.
No exceptions. This rule is very reliable. Preposition plus gerund. Always.
Now, let us also cover gerunds as subjects, because that is something people often avoid, but it sounds very natural.
Yes. Using a gerund as the subject of a sentence is very common and very natural in English. Swimming is fun. Reading helps you grow. Traveling broadens your mind. Cooking takes patience. Smoking is harmful.
And the infinitive can also be a subject, but it sounds a little more formal. To swim is fun. That is correct, but it sounds more bookish. Swimming is fun sounds more natural in everyday speech.
Exactly right. In casual conversation, gerunds as subjects sound more natural. To plus verb as subject sounds a bit formal or old-fashioned in spoken English.
Let us now talk about the most common mistakes learners make with gerunds and infinitives.
The first big mistake is using the infinitive after verbs that need a gerund, like saying, I enjoy to read, instead of I enjoy reading, or I finished to cook, instead of I finished cooking. Remember, enjoy and finish always need a gerund after them.
The second mistake is using the gerund after the verbs that need the infinitive, like saying, I want eating, instead of I want to eat, or she decided leaving instead of she decided to leave. Want and decide always need the infinitive.
The third mistake is forgetting the preposition rule. People say, I am interested to learn, instead of I am interested in learning. The preposition in is there, so it must be followed by a gerund.
A very common one. I am good at to cook. That is wrong. It should be, I am good at cooking, because at is a preposition.
The fourth mistake is not knowing that remember, stop, and try change meaning. People sometimes use them without thinking and accidentally say something they do not mean, so learning those three verbs carefully really pays off.
The fifth mistake is using to plus ing together. Some people say, I want to going, or I hope to eating. That is completely wrong. It is either to plus base verb, I want to go, or just the gerund alone, I enjoy going. Never mix them.
Great point. To going or to eating are never correct. They simply do not exist in English grammar.
Let us now talk about how to actually remember all of this and build confidence using it.
The best approach is to group the verbs. Make a mental list of verbs that need gerunds. Enjoy, finish, avoid, miss, consider, suggest, keep, admit, deny. Say them out loud. Make sentences with each one using a gerund.
Then make a separate mental list of verbs that need infinitives. Want, need, hope, plan, decide, agree, refuse, offer, promise, learn, forget. Make sentences with each one using the infinitive.
And then separately, remember the meaning-changing ones. Remember, stop, and try. Learn them as pairs. Remember doing something is a memory. Remember to do something is not forgetting. Stop doing is ending a habit. Stop to do is pausing.
And for prepositions, just keep that one clean rule in your head. Preposition plus gerund. Always. If you see a preposition, the next verb gets ing.
Practice by taking any verb you're unsure about and searching for it with gerund or infinitive. You'll quickly see which form it takes. Over time, the patterns become automatic.
Also, reading in English helps so much. When you read, you naturally absorb which verbs go with which form. Your brain starts to feel what sounds right, even before you remember the rule.
And speaking out loud is key. Take the example sentences we gave today and say them out loud. I enjoy swimming. I want to travel. She stopped smoking. He tried opening the window. Say them until they feel natural in your mouth.
Confidence in grammar doesn't come from memorizing charts. It comes from using the language again and again until the right choice feels obvious.
Exactly. You might still make mistakes sometimes, and that's completely fine. Every mistake is information. It tells you where to focus next.
Let's do a quick practice round. We'll say a sentence with a blank, and you can think about whether the answer is a gerund or an infinitive.
First one. She avoided blank eye contact. What goes in the blank?
The answer is making. She avoided making eye contact. Avoid is followed by a gerund.
Second one. He promised blank on time.
The answer is to arrive. He promised to arrive on time. Promise is followed by an infinitive.
Third one. I'm thinking about blank a new language.
The answer is learning. I'm thinking about learning a new language. About is a preposition, so it must be followed by a gerund.
Fourth one. She stopped blank to the music and left the room.
The answer is listening. She stopped listening to the music and left the room. Stop plus gerund means she ended the action of listening.
Fifth one. I forgot blank the lights off before I left.
The answer is to turn.
I forgot to turn the lights off before I left. Forget plus infinitive means I didn't remember to do it.
Perfect. You can see how quickly this becomes manageable once you know the rules.
Absolutely. Let's wrap up with a clear summary.
A gerund is a verb plus ing that works as a noun: swimming, eating, or eating. It follows certain verbs like enjoy, finish, avoid, miss, consider, suggest, keep, admit, deny. It always follows a preposition. It can be the subject of a sentence.
And infinitive is to plus the base verb, to swim, to eat, to read. It follows certain verbs like want, need, hope, plan, decide, agree, refuse, offer, promise, learn, forget.
Some verbs like, love, hate, and continue can take either form with no change in meaning. Some verbs like remember, stop, and try change meaning depending on which form follows, so learn those carefully.
The biggest mistakes to avoid are using the infinitive after gerund verbs, using the gerund after infinitive verbs, forgetting the preposition rule, and mixing to with ing.
And the best way to get better is to practice. Make sentences, say them out loud, read in English, and notice these patterns in the language around you.
You've got everything you need to start using gerunds and infinitives correctly and confidently. Take it one step at a time.
That's all for today. Keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next one.